Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of A Year in Cards. This time we're going to be making some Halloween cards, and I'm starting out by inking the edges of these pieces of orange cardstock. Over at 2Ps, accompanying this class, is a PDF that you can download that has all these pieces in template form so that you can download them and cut them out to the correct size so you can make your own card just like this. So I'm not going to show you how I drew out the pieces and things like that because I'm going to already have it prepped for you. So all you have to do is go cut it out and ink up the edges for this pumpkin and also for the stem. I'm using some Colorbox Q ink just to ink up the edges. And what I've done first is I'm adhering the stem straight to the card base, and it will be going underneath the very first piece. I'm going to use some dimensional foam adhesive, and I'm just putting a bunch on there and then placing it onto the card. And each one of these layers is one foam dimensional thick. So it's going to actually have 3 layers of cardstock on it when we're done, or 4 actually. I'm going to have a little banner that says a little sentiment on it. But as far as the pumpkin goes, there are 3 layers. So the pumpkin's pretty much done. You can see how it opens up. Next we have the banner. This is also included in the template that you can download and cut out on your own. And I've got some chipboard letters from Maya Road that I'm just putting down onto this piece of cardstock. So I'm going to be using some Maya Road mist to color them really quickly. And I've got some interesting letters in there, and you'll see why I do in a minute. You see me kind of assemble them. So I misted it with some Maya Road mist, and now I'm taking a black journaling pen and I'm just drawing some stitching lines onto the little banner. And then with a white pen, I'm just drawing some little lines just to add a little detail to these chipboard pieces. And I'll go ahead and draw on these white lines on all of the chipboard pieces, including, don't forget the interior of the letters too. And then I'm just going to place these on here, just so I can get an idea of where they need to end up when I glue them down. And you'll see here that I didn't have a letter K, and so I ended up using an L, and then I cut an X in half. And it doesn't look exactly perfect, but, in a pinch it'll do. I'm using some Tombow Mono Multi glue just to glue it down. There we go. And then I'm going to use, I'm just going to put the little pumpkin banner. Oh, just kidding. Before I do that, I'm going to do a little purple piece here. It's also in the template that you can download and cut out. I'm just gluing that down. And I'll be using a white gel pen just to write in the word hey really quickly. And I'm using some scratch paper just so I can practice it out. I need to make sure I can get it kind of stretched out really long. If you have some white rub-ons that are small, this would be a great opportunity to use them. Just adding some more stitching lines with the white gel pen. And through all 3 of these cards, I'm going to have stitching as sort of the element that ties them all together. So, and I also wanted to emphasize the outline of the pumpkin shape. So I've placed the little banner on there just for placement, and then I'm using some dimensional adhesive, and I'm doing 2 of them because if you remember, it's 3 layers, and I'm putting the dimensional on the first layer. So in order for it to lay flat, I need to have 2 dimensionals down on the card before I can put this little banner on. And I'll place that down. And that finishes the card. There's the very first card. I'm going to give you a little picture of what it looks like right here so you can see it a little more up close. And then we're going to head straight into the second card, which is a ghost. Once again, this will be included in the PDF that you can download. And I'm drawing on the eyes here, but they're already on the template for you. And I'm just using a X-Acto knife just to cut it out really quickly. Go in, press lightly, and then if it doesn't make it, go all the way, go over it again. Don't really butcher the paper by kind of, sawing at it. Take your time. These are some more of those chipboard letters. It's going to say boo. And I'm going to be covering the chipboard letters with some cardstock. This cardstock is from American Crafts. So I'm just using glue to adhere it down. I'm going to cut these out. I'm not cutting them super closely because I'm going to be sanding the edges down with the Basic Gray Precision Filing Set. And I'll show you a little bit of that in just a minute here. Notice I'm cutting out the O's, kind of like in a windmill pattern, you know, a little bit at a time. Here I am sanding down the edges. With these, with this file set, just use whatever you have. In fact, I switch over to a different shape here, the circle one, so that I can do the interior of the letter. And I don't show it in the video here, but when I do the O's, I ended up using a hole punch to just punch the hole, and then I was able to use the filing set from there. These are some dots from a Hero Art stamp set, and just putting some dots on the bottom of this ghost shape and then putting some clear embossing powder on top. I stamped in Versamark so that I could use embossing powder and have it stick. Heat it up really quick here. It's a really subtle pattern, but I thought it kind of looked a little bit ghostly. I thought it was fun. I'm adhering down the B, O, and O, and I'm going to be using more Versamark because I'm going to use some heat and stick powder. You could also use, well, I'm using the heat and stick powder so that I can apply some glitter, but if you already have your favorite glue that you like to use with glitter, or even some of the stickles that are in the two-piece store, that would be great. Just coat it with stickles and you don't even have to worry about any glitter getting everywhere. So with heat and stick powder, you put it on and then you heat it once just to melt it. Apply the glitter, and then had my little letter kind of fall in there. So apply the glitter, and then you're going to heat it up one more time, and this will set the glitter and prevent it from spreading too much after you already have it on your project. This is some embroidery thread, you know, just from the cross stitch section in a craft store that you can pick up. I'm just tying that around the ghost, and I'll tie it in a bow. And then I'll be placing these letters right down here, and I'm putting them on so I can kind of get placement, and then I'll be gluing them on. And the way I ended up getting the O in the middle to stick was I used mini glue dots. If you try to use a glue, it's not going to work on top of that glitter. It just balls up and doesn't adhere whatsoever. So I found out that just a mini glue dot on each side will work wonders. It'll work great. So I'm just applying the mini glue dots on the two sides where I know the O will meet the other letters. I'm going to kind of turn it so it looks a little bit fun. Okay, that one's all set. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to adhere it down to the black card base and with some dimensional adhesive. And then we'll finish off this card by doing some white faux stitching just to tie it in with the first card that we did, and then also you'll see in this last card that there's also some stitching on that as well. So there's the second card. I'm going to give you a really quick glance at it here in a minute with a still picture so you can see a little bit closer. You can kind of see the dots on there from the embossing too. Okay, into the third card. Have some pattern paper from American Crafts. This is from their Halloween collection. And the measurements for all of these cards will be in the PDF, so I'm not going to give those here, but all I've done is cut out the pattern paper and then rounded the corners on the bottom with the We Are Memory Keeper corner chomper. It's just a corner rounding punch that has two different sizes on it. It's really great. Adhere it down to the card, and then I'm taking some ribbon. And I'm sort of just putting it on the card a little bit so I kind of envision where I want it to go. And then I'm taking my scissors in and cutting a little slit out of the spine of the card. And that's so that I can thread the ribbon through the fold of the card. It's a little trick to add. You know, you can add ribbon and wrap it around in a card from any side. And, you know, the only time you would ever have trouble is maybe if there was a fold. And this technique, by cutting just a little slit in the fold, makes it so you can have ribbon anywhere. So and tie in a knot really quick. And trim off the ends. Okay, now we're on to the next step, which is I'm going to be taking some white cardstock and I'm going to use a circle wood grain stamp from Hero Arts with some Versamark ink. We're going to do a little more embossing, and this time we're going to emboss with white embossing powder. So I'm going to sprinkle that on there and shake off the excess and tap the paper, and then I'll heat it up with the heat gun. And this, it doesn't show up in photographs very well, but it's a really great texture, kind of the white on white. And then I took a punched black circle, and with some removable adhesive or even regular adhesive, you could place it on there in the circle. And then I'm taking the same size punch, and it doesn't quite fit there, so I'm actually going to cut out a little nick in the cardstock so that I can get it in there. But this is so I can get the punch of that circle centered within the stamped wood grain circle. And this just helps me figure out placement and get it just right through the punch. I wasn't able to get it all the way through, so shake out the cardstock, but it's halfway punch it so I can go back in and finish it up. There we go. Then I'm just going to take some scissors and trim out the outside edge of that wood grain stamp. Kind of created a donut shape or a frame. I'm stamping this Spooky Bat. It's from a pink paisley stamp set that came out last year. There we go, and then I'll just trim it out really closely to the edge. You'll notice as I trim this out that with my left hand, I sort of turn and rotate the paper so that my scissors can stay pretty straight. This will help you trim things out a little bit more smoothly and have a little bit more of control. So there's just a little tip for you for trimming this out. Just seeing if I can put some orange cardstock behind there. It looks like I can. So I'm going to trace the interior of this circle frame, and then I'll be able to just take some scissors and freehand cut around it so it has a little bit of extra space around the outside. And then I'll be adhering it down to the card, but I'm just going to check placement really quick. Oh, just kidding, I'm going straight on there. I forgot, I just went for it. Well, here's where we check placement. Okay, so you can see that's kind of where the white frame's going to end up. So there we go. Press it down. I'm adhering the white frame with some foam adhesive. And then I'll be taking the bat. Oh, just not quite that yet. We're going to do some black stitching lines on the inside of the circle frame first, and then I'm going to take the bat and I'm putting 2 layers of dimensional adhesive on there because the frame is already on one. I want it to stand up above the frame. Okay, now we're going to take some a white gel pen and do some additional stitching. This is also to tie in the card with the rest of the cards that are sort of in this Halloween card set. Okay, and I'm going to punch the bottom corner really quick with that We Are Memory Keepers corner chomper, and that will finish up the 3rd card. I'm going to give you a really quick still image of this 3rd card so you can see it up close, and then I'll come back and show you all 3 cards together. So here's that card a little closer. You can kind of see the wood grain on it there. And then here are all 3 cards. You can see how cute they are, Halloween cards. Anyway, hope you enjoyed, and join me over at 2Ps on the message boards. We'd love to have you, and I hope you enjoyed this month's class. Thanks for watching.